Hello everybody, welcome back to Ordinary Adventures at Home.
Today we're going back to the bookshelf because you guys asked for it. And we're taking out The Art of Star Wars: The Force Awakens by Phil Stozak. It is an incredible book, and it's even more incredible than the last book we looked at because this is about the inception of the ideas, the characters, all the designs from the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. This is like where it all stemmed from.
Yeah, there's tons of alternate ideas here, tons of deleted scenes. So if you want to find out where J.J. Abrams' Star Wars: The Force Awakens and the whole sequel trilogy was born and how it came to be the way it is, you're going to have to come with us on this adventure. Before we begin, I just want to say that this book series by Abrams Book and author Phil Stozak is just incredible. We own all of them, and we're going to put a link to where you can buy them on Amazon in the video description below, so if you want to check that out.
And trust me, you're going to want to get this book because we're just going to show you like a fraction of what's inside.
Here's an early concept drawing of Rey, who I think was named Kira, K-I-R-A. So one letter away from being Kitra.
No wonder I love Rey so much, because she almost had my name. It was meant to be.
And she's staring off at the lucky people, the families together, but they're also getting to leave Jakku, something she's probably always dreamed of. I feel like this is probably a seminal picture and them trying to create Rey.
Oh, that's so cool. What is going on there?
So this is a study of lightsabers, and it doesn't really tell us much of it, but I think it's kind of envisioning what if someone that didn't have a properly built lightsaber was able to build a lightsaber with like mixed materials? And there's like one that's like very...
Wow. How cool would have that have been to see?
Yeah. Look at like
Wow.
what Kira could have looked like.
What is on her back there?
I think she just like has a backpack like scavenging stuff.
Okay. Who's that?
That is Jedi Killer. These were the early designs. George Lucas. Actually, let's start at the beginning. This is a story I think
A
maybe...
long time ago.
A
the
galaxy
galaxy
not so far away in Northern California. I have a story time with Peter. This is actually interesting. George Lucas was developing a Star Wars live action TV series. It wasn't The Mandalorian. He had plans to film that and also film 3 new Star Wars movies.
Okay.
Episodes 7, 8, and 9. And he was gonna film this TV show in between each episode. He was gonna build a soundstage, a state-of-the-art soundstage in Northern California, not too far from where Skywalker Ranch is. And he wanted to do like a revolutionary design for a soundstage, kind of like what they did with The Mandalorian, with sets that weren't practical.
Okay.
Virtual sets. This was announced in Marin County, close to where you're from.
Yeah.
They were not happy with this because they thought that if they build this big soundstage, there would be a lot of people coming into their roads, and they don't like people. They don't want people there. From what I understand, George Lucas kept on going back to the local government and trying to present different ideas of how that would not negatively affect Marin County, and they fought it. They fought to the death of it. I think at one point George Lucas was just like, F this, I'm just gonna walk away. He ended up selling the property that he was gonna build the soundstage on to be used for low-income housing. Like, they didn't want people there.
That's like a slap in the face.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Around that time, George Lucas appeared at Celebration, and as part of that, he went over to Hollywood Studios. There was an event there, and he had this dinner with Bob Iger at the Brown Derby. And over that dinner, Bob Iger kind of mentioned the idea of like, would you ever be interested in selling Star Wars? And a few months later, I think he ended up selling to Disney.
Wow.
This is a long story to tell you like where this started. George Lucas sold with it some treatments, which are infamous because JJ supposedly threw them out. But from what I understand, these treatments were very basic, bare bones stuff. One part of that treatment was this idea of a Jedi killer. Before J.J. Abrams came on board, they sent a bunch of artists to just come up with ideas based on George's treatments and also not based on his treatments.
Okay.
And one of them was this idea for a Jedi killer.
Wow, that was a long story.
You don't like the story?
No, I do. I love how knowledgeable, you guys, he's the most knowledgeable person. Like, I'm thankful for him. You guys should all be thankful for Peter in your life. That was a cool looking Jedi killer. If you
It looks
ask
like
me.
something out of the world of like Deadpool or X-Men or
it looks
something.
very strange, but like I kind of like it.
And here, right here is Sam and Kira. So Finn was originally Sam,
Okay.
and he was described as pure charisma. And Kira was described by Michael Arndt, the original screenwriter, as a loner, hothead, gearhead, badass. I was gonna say they look a lot like those two from Twilight.
Bella
Robert
and
Pattinson.
Edward?
Yeah, don't they? It
Yeah.
looks like it's based off them. Here's a cool concept piece.
Oh, is that Han? Who
Yeah,
is
it's
that?
Han Solo in a like Western duster.
Wow, I
And it's
like that.
Inspired by Jeff Bridges and True Grit.
That's cool.
I like that. I wish they went more for something like
Yeah.
that. Early on in this concept, they came up with the idea of like a desert junk planet. A planet where there's just junk from this previous war. It looks nothing like anything that came in the film.
Oh yeah, that looks like it could be on Mustafar.
Yeah, it's a lava planet, and there's like these ice lava walkers. They're kind of like more triangular.
Those are cool.
And based on that idea, they were playing with the idea of like ice and fire. There's this
Ooh.
concept art of here, I'm not sure if that's the bad guy or the good guy. I guess it's the bad guy with a lightsaber that's one side red, one side blue. Here's some other early designs for the Jedi killer.
I mean, I like his mask.
Yeah, under the mask is kind of scary.
Yeah. Oh.
What about her? A Twi'lek that's red and has some black like
She's
tattooing.
like being like cradled by like some dark, evil looking creature. It's kind of like erotic, if you ask me.
It looks nothing like what we got.
Yeah, no.
But kind of Darth Maul. So here we get the first concept drawings of Rey. She looks a lot younger. And you see that she has little floating droids with her.
Wow, it's crazy to see that this is all the way back in 2013.
Yeah, the beginning of 2013.
Looks like she's playing with a little like R2D2 head looking probe droid thing. What is that?
I think that, oh yeah, that is like
Maybe
a probe
it's
droid.
like, it looks like a little creature she created herself or something.
It looks like they wanted a castle in this movie really bad, because you'll see throughout this book there's evolution of castles. But this shot is like the junk planet. Instead of it being a desert, it's kind of like an ice planet with a castle.
That's cool. I like the look of that.
And here's the junk planet where it's like more of industrial and more of dock-like. And there she is with another droid, another floating
Oh,
droid.
I like that guy.
And here's the junk swamp planet. In these early drawings, she's repurposing Imperial helmets and stuff like that she found in these ruins of like the AT-ATs and Imperial Star Destroyer.
Now, this might be like a 5-hour-long video.
One of my most favorite drawings from this book, Rey, or Kira at the time, she's on an adventure. This is actually at the end of the adventure. So this is at the end of the movie. She goes to the Death Star, which has crashed and is part of it's underwater, to discover a map that tells her where Luke is.
Okay.
So it's hidden in the Emperor's throne rooms. And here's a look at it. They tried to incorporate Vader's castle
Wow.
on Mustafar, which I think first appears on screen in Rogue One, but was an original Ralph McQuarrie concept art. So I think they like went back to Ralph McQuarrie concept arts and tried to incorporate things in here.
Movie's so different than like any of his concept art.
Yeah.
Like, what are we looking at?
Well, they're just kind of visually exploring what could be, which is just like the most exciting part of making a film. In the early concept art, they had Luke Skywalker looking at Darth Vader's destroyed helmet, which is something that eventually
Kylo does,
Yeah,
right?
Kylo does. You see these guys that kind of like have a variation of Darth Vader's helmet.
Yeah.
There was an idea that this Jedi killer was pretending to be Darth Vader, and Luke Skywalker was questioning, Darth Vader alive? Is he dead? And here's a snowy, dramatic lightsaber fight with a Darth Vader guy, and that looks very much like the ending Starkiller Base lightsaber battle. This is the early concept art for the Stormtroopers and how they evolved.
Oh wow, this looks like it could almost be a concept art for like Captain Phasma's look.
Yeah. It's interesting how they were going with a totally different aesthetic. Luke is having force visions of his father, Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen.
Wow.
What do you think of that? Like, would that have been interesting?
If we got George Lucas's movie, we would have gotten that.
Probably. Early on in this film, they had the idea of they wanted a Yoda-like creature. They wanted someone who was a teacher, a mentor for this young Jedi, and I think the Yoda-like creature evolved into what Maz Kanata is. Look at that guy.
Oh
He's
my
like
God.
little like almost Yoda-like creature, but he has a lightsaber in one hand and a blaster in another.
He's cool.
I love some of these just out there designs. Like here's a probe droid that is made out of like two R2 domes.
Yeah.
Here's an early episode 7 opening sequence. So in this opening sequence, the crawl goes up and it is a replication of A New Hope where there's like this little rebel-like ship being chased by this huge ship. And then we learn that the huge ship is getting just dragged and dumped on this desert planet. So it gets like...
It's like a tow truck.
Yeah, it's like a tow
in.
truck, yeah.
Oh my god, that would have been hilarious.
And I think what happens is R2 is originally on the ship somehow. R2 ends up not getting into the escape pod. And he goes down with the ship, and I think Rey encounters R2, and that's how she originally got involved in this whole mess. We almost got a completely different version. The crawl went off the screen.
Yeah.
And then we closed in on what looked like a spaceship for a second, but then we realized it's a lightsaber, and there's a hand attached to the lightsaber, and it's Luke's lightsaber from Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
It's a decapitated hand.
Yeah.
Flying through space, and then it like comes down and like lands into a planet.
Wow.
I'm not sure how that played into the story.
Wow.
That would have been cool, right?
That would have been so cool. That would have been like the craziest opening like ever.
Here's an early concept art from Doug Chang of like a Death Star rising from the desert sands and rising up into the sky. Strangely, in Rise of Skywalker, they kind of do that with the Star Destroyers. They rise through the ground.
Oh yeah.
Right? They tried to make the Jedi killer more of like bounty hunter. I guess he has 5 lightsabers. What's going on there?
He has like one for every occasion. He's like, all right, I guess I'll use this one.
He's just a collector of lightsabers, guys. He just wants to collect them all.
Me too. I want to collect them all too. Okay, that's Kira on an X-wing with a lightsaber, and then what is happening?
She's trying to take down a Star Destroyer by herself with a lightsaber hanging outside of her X-wing.
Oh wow, it's like all her marks.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's practical, but it's a cool idea.
Can you imagine?
There's also a shot here of the Millennium Falcon going underwater because the thought was it was airtight. So here we finally see the character who eventually becomes Finn with a character who was originally named John Doe and then Poe.
Wow.
So that's how Poe got his name. And originally John Doe was called John Doe because he helps Finn escape and Finn leaves him for dead. And he actually died originally. And what happens is Finn goes in this quest in this desert and I think passes out or something and gets picked up by this indigenous tribe.
Whoa.
And he wakes up and that he had that helmet with his friend put the red blood on. And he wakes up and one of these alien shamans is wearing the helmet. It's like almost like a bad dream, but he realizes.
That's kind of creepy looking.
I guess this might be an early BB-8 kind of droid. It looks like they really were going for like a probe droid, like a circular probe droid kind of concept. Here's an interesting concept that I really like, and it's based on this place, this dump in Somalia, where there's just like a ton of vehicles and stuff. And here it's a bunch of TIE fighters from the Imperial War. Here's where we get the Jedi killer looking at Darth Vader's helmet. So it comes full circle to where we're going with Kylo. And I like this. This is the AT-AT that Rey ends up turning into her residence. It's nothing like what we see in the film, but I like how it's kind of Western inspired. It's funny that J.J. Abrams was already playing around with the idea of using red on the Star Destroyers.
Yeah, but that's like really red.
Yeah.
I feel like
and
that would have
like
been
a
very
circular
cool.
dome in the middle.
Oh, that's a cool looking ship. I like that.
You see here Maz in the catacombs of her castle. She has a lightsaber in her hand.
She kind of looks more like Yoda in that.
Oh, this is interesting right here. They were coming up with ideas like, how do you land a TIE fighter? Because they never actually show someone coming out of a TIE fighter.
Yeah.
Here, someone envisioned like a ladder that comes down.
They're like, obviously it's a ladder.
Ladder, yeah, obviously. And above it is this concept where the wings kind of fold in on themselves.
Yeah.
And this concept art was used in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I was going to say, I remember in The Mandalorian when they did that, like that was the first time you ever saw one land, right?
Yeah, so Doug Chang, the guy that's head of visual development at Lucasfilm, he's the guy that developed it, and he also worked on Mandalorian. The idea was to have all these aliens sitting around a board where they're betting on little droids fighting or battling each other.
Yeah, but look at all the like heads on the wall.
Yeah, which was kind of used in Galaxy's
Yeah,
Dock on
it
there.
reminded me of Galaxy. Like, that would have been ridiculous.
It's called the Droid Cockfight. I guess that was their version of like the chess game from the original Star
Okay.
Wars, I'm guessing. They were playing around with the idea that not only was Anakin appearing to someone as a Force ghost, but he was part light and part dark, so his appearance was sometimes as Anakin, half Darth Vader.
Wow.
What do you think of that?
I would have loved to see that. Uh-oh, I think we might have finally come across the BB-8 part.
So here's a sticky note that J.J. Abrams drew this little droid on. It's 2 circles, and he has like 2 eyes and a little smiley face on it. And it was his idea for a little droid that he called Surly Droid. Kind of like these concepts, even though it's so different than BB-8.
Every single one of these I'm a fan of. This one almost looks like Dio. I know I said this already, but you guys, this is a very big book, and we are like barely scratching the surface here, and I already know that this is going to be a very long video. So buy this book if you want to see more, because it's honestly all so cool.
Here's that droid that's outside Droid Depot, and he appears in Force Awakens.
I love him.
He appears in the background of some of the Resistance scenes.
Yeah, I like him.
I love that guy.
Yeah, that guy's very cool.
I love that he's practical. There's a guy actually in there, and his body goes into the boxes on his back.
I just love that all the little creatures. They should have had that guy as the creature for this creature stall in Galaxy's Edge. Like, how cool would have that been if he was like outside being like, come on in.
They're having trouble coming up with what the Star Destroyer looks like in this movie, and here it has like little crevices and holes.
Yeah, and then like the final design was just like, okay, let's just make it the same as it was before.
It's the same Star Destroyer, it's just bigger.
Yeah.
And they're playing on ideas of different ships. So here, this guy went through the entire alphabet, and he was like, what would, because you know they have A-wings, B-wings, X-wings.
Yeah.
What would an L-wing look like? What would a K-wing look like? What would a B-wing look like?
That's awesome.
And there's right there what is that, a J-wing?
Yeah, do we see anything like that?
I don't think it's in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, and here's earlier looks of Rey when she was still Kira, and she had a lot of like gear because she was doing a lot of climbing, a lot of scavenging. So she had a lot of gear, but they eventually, obviously, decided to pare down.
I mean, I'm happy with what we got, but how badass would that be if she just had a bunch of like random stuff hanging off of her that she like made?
And it's so practical. All the gear is very
Yeah,
practical.
it all has a purpose.
So here's an idea for a Jedi killer. He had a red mask with a black circle and a red circle in the middle. And the guy that designed it thought, he was like, oh, this is for sure going to be the Jedi. And it ended up in the final movie. It ended up being one of the death gangs that invades Han Solo's ship.
Oh,
Yeah.
They have masks like that?
Yeah. So he appears in the movie, but he didn't end up being, the great bad guy that they thought he could possibly be.
Yeah, that helmet doesn't seem practical.
Interesting here, there's a picture of a cantina, a bar.
I think I've seen this concept art before.
Yeah.
Right? Was this Oga's Cantina?
Yeah, this was shown, it was shown at the announcement of Galaxy's Edge.
That's where I saw it, because I'm like, I've seen this before.
As a lady floating in a big fish tank.
It's like a mermaid or something.
But I think they just didn't have enough concept art for Galaxy's Edge when they announced that D23.
They're like, oh, we could use this. This is a bar.
I love this creature.
Me too. He's awesome.
The Lugga Beast. I like how the entrance to Jakku's trading area is based off that entrance to Jabba the Hutt's palace from the original Ralph McQuarrie concept art. I like this shot of the Jedi killer Kylo talking to his master, and in the shot it's actually Boris Karloff's face from The Mummy, the 1932 Mummy.
Wow.
They didn't have who his master was. But I like how the sides of that room are slanted, kind of like an A-frame early concept art of Knights of Ren. Maybe they were originally going to have a little bit bigger of a role in the movie. I don't know.
Probably. My favorite character. I love this guy. We ate the Hababor platter at Oga's Cantina, remember?
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen that video where we tried some meat of this creature, it was not good.
He's the guy drinking out of the water in Jakku, and Finn comes and
I love
drinks
him.
the water, and then
I
he
love him.
farts.
Yeah. Oh, there's your favorite character.
Not my favorite character. You're talking about Unkar Platt.
Ungarplet, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like him. And apparently the design for him came from an idea from J.J. Abrams' daughter.
Okay.
So, yeah, she had this blobfish concept, and that's the one that J.J. Abrams kind of...
He definitely does look like a blobfish. That's hilarious.
Rey scavenging through the Star Destroyer with the goggles. The idea was that you didn't know who she was. Is it a man? Is it a woman? Is it an alien beneath there? And in a way, the film's asking the same question. Who is Rey? No, here's Jedi Killer's sword.
Wow, that looks awful. Like Ben Solo's lightsaber.
Yeah,
if you
it looks
ask me.
like it looks very much like Kylo Ren's lightsaber without the crossguard. Originally, the First Order had the spaceship that would drill into the planet of Takodana, where Maz Kanata's castle was, and you see it here, almost like a probe droid with
It looks like a jellyfish or something.
So one of the concept artists, Glenn Dillon, they had gone through all these concept arts for this Jedi killer. And he just decided to take the approach, I'm going to create a poster for Star Wars Episode 7 and see if I can make it look good. He came up with this guy. He has a black mask with yellow, and it looks a lot like Kylo.
That's Kylo.
And he showed it to J.J. Abrams, and J.J. Abrams was apparently like, that looks cool. But he said instead, maybe it would be better if it was reflective rather than yellow. It ended up being...
Chrome.
Yeah, chrome.
Wow, that's crazy.
This is really interesting.
Oh.
Because here's an idea of a ship or a vehicle that is inside the tank, the treads of a tank.
Yeah.
We saw that where?
We saw that in The Rise of Skywalker. That's what Lando was rolling around in.
Yeah. So an idea, again, that came up for Star Wars The Force Awakens ended up in Rise of Skywalker. Here's a look at some of the creatures that inhabit Maz's castle. I feel like I could watch a movie just set in the castle.
That's always the best part, all the creatures. You know what, I'm kind of disappointed? I was really expecting when we looked at this that there was going to be a bunch of concept art for Constable Zuvio, and I haven't seen any.
No.
What the heck?
Missing in action as always.
Like nobody's going to get that.
They'll get it. And here's some concept art of some of the Knights of Ren. Very accurate to what they end up looking like.
Yeah.
Which is strange because I remember having this book and I was like, oh, that was what their idea for them was, and they probably won't show up like that. But yep. They have this concept art of this like Republic city. I'm guessing this is the city that is destroyed by Starkiller Base. I have this grand idea, by the way. A lot of people don't like the end of Star Wars The Force Awakens as is because it's just kind of repetitive. It's Death Star all over again. Rey and Finn and Han and Chewie are all on the surface with Kylo, and everything that's going on the same way. And the Resistance fleet comes there to try to take out the weakness that they know about, just like happens in A New Hope, right?
Yeah.
And it turns out that their information was incorrect, and they were unable to stop it.
Okay.
And it's then that we see Starkiller Base fire for the first time. Not like earlier in the film.
Yeah.
For Puck's just trying to show his might. It's then. So if you had the Resistance actually losing at the end of that film, and the Starkiller Base actually firing and killing off most of the government of this galaxy at the end of that film,
Yeah.
that would have been a much like more powerful ending.
I agree.
If I could have like an oil painting or a print of this on my wall, it's so beautiful. It's the moment where Kylo and
Spoiler alert.
the light coming in from the blast.
I want to cry just like thinking of it.
Here's a Resistance transport. It doesn't quite look like the one that we take in Rise of the Resistance, but it's pretty cool.
It's pretty similar, yeah.
Yeah, you get the same vibes from it.
Rise of the Resistance. Remember that ride?
I do. What do you think of this Snoke? J.J. Abrams wanted Snoke to feel like he was like out of a horror film, like a Hammer horror film.
I mean, it looks pretty similar to the one that we got. His eyes are a little bit more creepy, I think.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah, I don't like him. What I did enjoy is all the evolution of Rey and Finn and Kylo, and just to see like where they started and how they evolved. That's so cool.
It's interesting to see J.J. Abrams play with different ideas and how the different iterations and how it ends up where it did and what it started as.
I do wish there was more concept art of BB-8. I feel like we only got one like half page of it.
Yeah. If you guys want to see us go through the other art of Star Wars books, leave a comment below. And we've also, while we're doing these home vlogs, we've decided we're going to answer your questions.
Yeah.
So if you want to, in the comments below, leave a question for us that we may answer at the end of a future vlog. We're going to try it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so leave your best question, because I'll be picking them.
If you want to see our video on the Rise of Skywalker book, we'll put that to the side. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next adventure.